I hope to see you again, comes a woman's voice from behind. You turn slowly, your heart speeds up, even as your stomachs twist. Stomach twists, fucking hell. Maiden Avis is smiling down at you. She's wearing a heavy plate armor and polished steel, dented in place, adorned with gold trim and spattered with blood and mud. On her back is slung an impossibly large two-handed sword. The tip of the blade is nearly dragging on the ground. By the weight of it, the weapon must weigh as much as little Betty, the pork merchant's daughter. Oh wow. So it's like 45 kgs. Holy fucking shit, that's gotta be heavy. I mean, was she no? She's probably like, she was young, right? So I'm guessing 20 kgs. Like, holy shit, that's still heavy. I think the heaviest sword ever actually used in battle was 7 kgs or something. So like 20 kgs, that's fucking insane. By the way, just to check that she is the real Maiden Avis, we should probably pull out our sword and see if it glows or something. If not, then that's fine. Where were we? Right. Weight of the pork merchant's daughter. Avis cradles a large helm in her one arm. Her long blonde hair hangs free, wet mated with blood, in places yet still somehow beautiful. Maiden Avis is even more gorgeous than you remember, despite a smear of blood on her chin. That makes it all the way better. Her eyes shine with wild amusement. Her smile is one of joy. If you were not so amazed by her beauty, perhaps you'd allow yourself to be disturbed at how energizing she looks with so much fear and death around her. You rip your eyes from her and look around for a moment. The soldiers that have been glaring at you is gone. You turn back to the beautiful priestess. Maiden Avis, you stammer, I have no pants. You draw your cloak around you, hiding your crotch and legs. She laughs, a rich, lilting sound that makes Spiria cease sobbing and look up. The attention of several soldiers, likewise drawn by the sound, stare at Avis with adoring eyes. Avis quickly recovers, her voice still tinged with amusement. I was told a hero needed a healer, not a steamstress. Even Aletheia cannot grow you a pair of trousers. One of the adoring soldiers bark laughters. You raise to your feet, keeping your cloak closed so as to not give everyone a show of your genitals. Trousers or not, I'm pleased to see you still draw breath, she says. You bow your head respectfully, buying yourself a second to think. Who is this really? The last time you saw this woman, she was actually Azazel, the succubus in disguise. Even if this is Avis's body, perhaps she is possessed by Azazel. Egra, trickster Godling, you can see through deception, you say. No response from her. You do not feel the goddess's presence. Hiding again. Why? You did not hide from Drala, Kalak, or Lich, or succubus, even the devil. Right, because Egra only hides when a priest is around. So, since this is a paladin of Aletheia, it makes sense. Avis motions for you to walk with her. All you know is that your instincts tell you this is not just Maiden Avis as you remember her. You suppose you best at least make a guess of whom this is and proceed accordingly. Azazel using a shape-changing spell. Avis's body possessed by Azazel. Avis's body possessed by something else. So it's not, there's no way this is just Avis. I highly doubt is Azazel, because either of the one or two option, it wouldn't make sense, because the Egra would not hide if it was Azazel, because Azazel would not be able to perceive Egra's presence. A priest, however, can. So I'm guessing there's something in her body that is priestly. Maybe Aletheia has channeled through her body or something. Avis's body possessed by something else. I'm gonna go with that. It is Avis, but not only Avis, you think. She's possessed by something, but what? What is it, Rooster? She asked with an expression of genuine concern. This is the woman who cared for me when I woke from Thog's curse, you think. Her eyes, her smile, yet with more certainty and strength. You're Alethea's champion, you whisper excitedly. I mean, Alethea's daughter's champion. What? You're Alethea's champion, I whisper that. You whisper excitedly. I mean, Alethea's daughter's champion. What? What does that even mean? She smiles. Alethea's daughter's champion. Oh, so Maiden Avis is carrying on her a Godling. He smiles wide, making you catch your breath before she even speaks. You know you are correct. Her name is Thiosa, and she is brighter than the sun. I see her strength within you, you say softly. Thiosa chose her champion well. For a pantless man, you are perceptive, she says, again with her smile. It is a smile, not of mockery, but merely a gentle tease. Warmth spreads through you. She continues as she strolls alongside you. There is a story of a man bruised by his mortal life, yet one who learned to see like no other. She winks at you, drawing out of you what must be goofy grin. An underestimated man, you say, recovering your composure. Very, she says. Oh man, that is good. Yet handsome, you say with a smile and a wink. What happens to this man? He dies, she says with a shrug. As all mortals do, you say, frowning. However, she says with a finger in the air and a glow in her eyes, he is born to a better world, a multiverse made whole. I like the reborn part, you say. Do not think on it much, it's only a story, says Avis. You brought it up, you say with a wink. Avis misses the second flirtatious wink of yours as she looks up due to a thunderous explosion from beyond the wall. She turns back to you. As I said, I'm gladdened that you still draw breath. She raises her eyebrow at a wound on your shoulder. Even if a bit worse for wear, she smiles teasingly. I shall heal you. First, maiden, you must know that there is a demon. I know, she says, her voice grim as she takes a gauntlet off her one hand. Perhaps, when there is more time, I will tell you the tale of her. She puts her bare hand on your shoulder. I think we should not tell her about... he was about to tell her about Azazel. I was thinking more along the lines of Galmagus. Life increases 7. Oh, increases 7, that's a lot. Avis closes her eyes. Tingling warmth floods into you as you close your open wounds closing. As you feel your open wounds closing. God, that is good. You whisper as she withdraws. You have to fight the urge to snatch her hand back. She puts her helm on, raises her visor so you can still see her face. Thanks to one god in particular, she winks. You feel yourself blush. I do not know Alethea had such a sense of humor. But Avis is already waving goodbye as she hurries away. Someone get that man some trousers, she calls over her shoulder. Pants or not, I will follow that woman anywhere and lend what aid I can. You think as you prepare to go after the priestess or holy warrior, whatever she is now. Stay away from her, says Egra. Oh, there you are, you say. I will not linger near a rival godling, says Egra. Rival godling, you think. She aids us. Egra says nothing. Right, this is going to be a complex situation. When we are done with all the different godlings, how are we going to settle this dispute between Egra and Alethea's godling? There you go, Thogsmiter, says a soldier with a grin. He holds out a pair of mud-smeared trousers. Wouldn't want the besties getting too easy admittance to the sweet tenders of yours. Probably of a dead man, you think. So you nod to him in thanks and take in the trouser. How about a proper shirt, you say, with the soldiers already hurrying on towards the wall. Put the trousers on. Whatever unfortunate soul owned these, however, had a few pounds on you, so the fit is loose. Although they will do nothing to show off your fine derriere. At least you'll enjoy excellent range of motion, and your sword belt will keep these bags from falling down around your ankle. Avis has climbed a ladder and is now on the wall. She holds her absurdly large sword above her. Light bursts forth from the trip like a star. She addresses the soldier below and along the battlement. Even from here, with all the noise, you can hear her. Let them come. Let Demora's wretched fallen dash themselves against our steel. Knights of Aletheia, now we fight for the glory of all that is good. As though mocking her, an arrow ricochets off the back of her helm. Obviously fired from the enemy beyond the wall. To her credit, she does not so much as flinch, rather she laughs. Her large beautiful eyes are wide and earnest. These degenerates think they can break us, she shouts. We will answer them with cold steel. We shall crush them under our boots in Alethea's name. There's a roar among the men. Even with her helm on, Avis's vision is a vision to behold, not just beautiful, but you feel the righteous power pulse through the air. There is no doubt in this woman. Aren't you glad I did not make you such a puppet, says Egra. You ignore Egra, she's probably just envious. You prepare to stalk forward the battlement, but your muscles freeze. What did I tell you about getting too close to her? Besides, my champion is not chattel, not gristed, to be grinded by self-righteous Aletheia or the Duke and this made-up privilege to rule. This castle is not your final destination. We go to the Temple of Eternal Love. There we shall meet our destiny. I'm the champion, I decide... I'm the champion, I decide my destination. Egra laughs. You said I was not a puppet, you mutter to yourself. Maybe not a puppet exactly, nevertheless. Your free agency has been mixed when she is possessing you. Anyway, if you're honest with yourself, you've never been much of a soldier, at least not in the teamwork sense. Take a deep breath and look around. Further back near the moat, by the light of many fires, you see mostly the wounded and those administering to them. One dwarf stands apart from the rest. Dwarves. Sure enough, Thalmor and Horam are among them. There are about a dozen dwarves in the party, all wearing chaelmen and armor, most with our shields that nearly cover their entire short, stout bodies. Thalmor and Horam carry battle axes. As do many of the other dwarves, while others are armed with swords and spear. Maybe these fellows can give you some good advice for making it to the Temple of Eternal Love. As you approach the dwarves, Egra begins chanting in a low whisper in your mind. Not only do you not understand the words she's chanting, but you can't even guess what language it is, despite having heard many languages now, including fiendish language of the demons. Stop that, Egra, you say. You're distracting your champion. She ignores you as she continues to chant. Well, if I'm not looking at the luckiest shaved hobgoblin alive, I'll eat my own belt, shouts Thalmor as you approach. Still got all his limbs even, says Horam. We've all come a long way from the Green Dragon Inn, you say. And never to return, says Thalmor. I wager those sapsuckers burned it down along with the rest of my favorite alehouses. You offer Thalmor your hand. To your mild surprise, he clasps your arm in a warm embrace. Horam follows his lead and claps you heartily as well. The other dwarves, perhaps a dozen of them, eye you curiously for a second before resuming their own conversation. Eger's drowning chant continues, although her volume is lower now. What brings you back here with the invalids and miscreants, says Thalmor. I'm looking for advice, you say. Again with the advice, says Thalmor. If you heeded our advice, you wouldn't be in this city. I told you to find yourself a plump-bottomed lass and raise goats. That's a good one. That is a good one. Plump-bottomed lass, raise goats, said in Horam. That's not the advice you remember them giving you, but you let it go. I need to get to the Temple of Eternal Love, you say. You need to stay within these walls, says Horam. They'll rip your soul out and feed it to their hellhounds, says Horam. You sigh as you try to focus your attention as this conversation as Egra continues to chant. Nevertheless, you say to the dwarves, if a man were to go to that temple, how would that man go about it? Thalmor shakes his head. If you had a team of dwarves in a few months, you would tunnel there. He shrugs. Horam raises his eyebrows. Speaking of tunnels, there is no easy way, says Thalmor, cutting off the other dwarf, scowling at him. No easy way above ground unless you have 10,000 elite swordsmen hiding beneath your bum cheeks. An interesting spell idea, says Egra, and then she resumes chanting. Ha! Exclaims Horam, slapping his thigh. Too skinny for that. Since we've established your bum is too small to have that many swordsmen hidden in it, you best just put it out of your mind, says Thalmor. Even if you are as dumb as an earthworm, lucky as a platinum ingot, and actually somehow get into the temple alive, what will you find there other than more death and evil? There is no treasure. Her tale that Duke's visit picked over the temple himself. You'd be as stupid as halfling's armpit to go there, says Horam. Nothing good comes of the temple. So I've heard, you say, remembering a conversation with Piri and Adele. I have some friends that were going there. Your friends are crazier than an elf kissing owl bear and dead already, says Thalmor. Not to be insensitive about it, says Horam. Come with us instead. We may finally have a use for you. One of the dwarves look sharply over at Thalmor and shakes his long beard. We can't have a lantern luggering stumbling around with us. Keep your whiskers out of it, Koreg, says Thalmor. This one slew that tentacled horror that was all the fuss in the castle. Bonder knows how, but he did. Raise up to your full height. It wasn't easy, you say, hooking the thumb of your one hand under thy belt and patting the hilt of your sword with the other. You slew that, says Coram, incredulously. Bah, that was a man, not a woman. Everyone knows. What? You say, I'm a man? The dwarf leans in closer and squints. My mistake, he says at last. Horam roars in laughter, and Thalmor roars with laughter, and Horam joins in. All right, says Koreg, holding up a stubby, calloused finger at Thorum and Horam. Honest mistake, he nods at you solemnly. Apologies, you have hair like woman, and that shirt is very feminine, and I have a beard, you say. Koreg apologetic expression falls away. Now all three dwarves are laughing, and some of the other dwarves nearby start up too. One of them shouts, you call that a beard? You turn and begin walking away. Thalmor grabs your wrist. You turn back to him. His face is red and he's smiling, yet he holds in his laughter. No offense to you, man. Korek doesn't know better. He doesn't get above ground much. Our women grow some hair on their faces. Like sentence trails off as he again suppresses his mirth. Like me, you say, finishing his sentence. You're saying I look like one of your women. Too tall, says Horam, but otherwise a fair resemblance. Now Thalmor pulls you away from the laughing dwarves, and Horam trails close by. Now you're a man, suicidal, handy with a sword. We could use such a man, he says, nodding at you. I'm not suicidal, you say. I'm not sure what to say actually. You have been getting into some absurdly dangerous situation lately. Not unlucky, it's been a gift from the gods that I'm alive, you think. Gift from a Godling, you mean, says Egra, breaking off a chant and then resuming. There have been some women in my life as of late. Again, you're at loss for words. Egra, Kriya, Azazel, even Puria has pushed you onto unusual paths. Blaming women, oldest excuse there is, says Horam. No, it's not even an excuse at this point. There's so many fuckers. Point is, you don't mind trouble and me and my crew about to go find some, says Thalmor. The earth-shaking boom and a mighty roar from beyond the wall. Winged beasts are gathering in the sky, although they're avoiding flying over the wall so far. Seems there is plenty of trouble here, you say, tilting your head in the direction of the wall. As though fate is agreeing with you, 3 large balls of fire streak through the air, arching high, appearing to be aimed at the castle or at your back. You've seen this before at the campaign with Lord Wellington's army. Trebuchet using flaming pitch. One of the balls is now nearly directly above, coming in fast, but you move to take cover, but Thalmor grips his shoulder. Watch, he says. All three balls of fire disappear for a moment, then reappear, only now streaking away in opposite direction of the same trajectory as before, only reverse. The fireball disappear out of view behind the wall, and then you hear the booms. Thalmor laughs. Calax wards, he says, stupid goblins. Some smarter than others, says Horam. Right, says Thalmor, nodding. Right, says Thalmor, nodding. Which brings me back to my proposal. The goblins are tunneling underneath the castle. They have already breached in. The Duke's men sealed it off. But if I know goblins, I certainly do. They have got themselves a labyrinth and they're punching through over and over, lots of different places. Duke wants my men to go into the goblin tunnel, seal them off.